They laughed when you disappeared. They mocked your silence. They thought you were finished, broken, done. They called you a failure. They whispered about how you couldn't handle the pressure. They wrote you off as just another nobody, too weak to stay in the fight. And you let them. You let their words sink in. You let their doubt become your reality. You vanished, buried yourself in the shadows, convinced yourself that maybe they were right, that maybe you weren't built for this. But let me tell you something. The world thinks silence is surrender. The weak hear nothing and assume the battle is over. But warriors know better. Silence is not defeat. Silence is preparation. Silence is where legends sharpen their weapons before they set the world on fire. You weren't gone. You weren't done. You weren't broken. You were becoming something they will never understand. While they were busy laughing, you were busy building. While they were celebrating your downfall, you were reconstructing every single piece of yourself stronger, harder, unrecognizable. You see, they expected you to crawl back, desperate for their approval. They expected you to beg for another chance, to prove yourself to people who never deserved your energy in the first place. But that's not how this ends. This isn't about proving them wrong. This isn't about making them see your worth. You don't need their validation. You don't need their acceptance. You don't need a single damn thing from them. Because when you return, when they hear your name again, it won't be because you asked for their attention. It won't be because you pleaded to be noticed. It will be because your presence is so undeniable, so unstoppable, that they have no choice but to hear you, louder than ever. They didn't silence you. You silenced yourself. Let that sink in. No one took your voice. No one took your power. You handed it over. You let their opinions chain you down. You let their rejection break your spirit. You let their judgment shape your reality. And for what? Approval, respect, some empty validation from people who don't even matter. Wake up. The cold, unforgiving truth is this: no one cares. No one is waiting for your comeback. No one is hoping you rise. The world moves on without you. The world forgets the silent. And if you stay down, you will be nothing more than a name they used to know. That's reality. And it's brutal. But you needed to hear it. Because as long as you keep pretending that someone else is responsible for your silence, you will stay exactly where you are, drowning in your own self-imposed weakness. They didn't shut you down. You chose to stop speaking. You chose to fade. You chose comfort over combat, fear over fire. And that choice, that's what's keeping you ordinary. But here's where everything shifts. The moment you own your silence, you reclaim your voice. The moment you stop blaming the world, you take back your power. The moment you stop waiting for permission, you become unstoppable. Weak people hide because they fear rejection. Warriors rise because they know rejection is fuel. Weak people stay quiet because they're afraid to fail. Warriors speak because they know failure is the price of greatness. So decide. Stay silent. Stay forgotten. Stay weak. Or step forward. Speak so loudly with your actions that the world has no choice but to listen. Look in the mirror. Stare into your own eyes. You know the truth. You've always known. The person staring back at you, that's your enemy. Not them. Not the doubters. Not the world. You are the one who hesitated. You are the one who made excuses. You are the one who let pain turn into paralysis instead of power. Every single time you backed down, it wasn't because you weren't capable. It wasn't because you lacked talent, intelligence, or strength. It was because you gave in. You let the weak voice inside your head dictate your reality. That voice told you it was too hard. That voice told you to take a break. That voice convinced you that tomorrow was a better time to start. That voice, it's the voice of your destruction, and it needs to die. You don't negotiate with weakness. You don't reason with self-doubt. You don't sit there and analyze your fears. You kill them. You burn them to the ground and bury the ashes. The version of you that stayed silent, that person is dead. That person let fear win. That person waited for someone to save them. But no one is coming. No one is going to pull you out of this. No one is going to hand you strength. No one is going to hear you until you decide to roar loud enough to shake the ground. So this is it. The breaking point. The moment where you either destroy the excuses or let them destroy you. You either stand up and take what's yours, or you sink deeper into the grave you've been digging for yourself. Decide. Right now. Burn the old version of you to the ground, or stay silent forever. Enough. No more hesitation. No more second guessing. No more waiting for the right moment. This is the moment. You've seen the truth. You've faced the enemy within. Now there is only one thing left to do: rise. This is the turning point. The split second where you either step forward or stay in the shadows. And make no mistake, this decision will define you. Not just today. Not just this year. For life. Because once you make the shift, once you rip off the weight of your old self, there is no going back. The weak version of you, the one that was afraid to be seen, the one that backed down when things got tough, it dies here. Right now. That's what transformation is. That's not gradual. It's not gentle. It's violent. It's fire and destruction, burning away everything you thought you were, so that something stronger can rise from the ashes. And that's who you are now. Unshakable. Unbreakable. A force that will never be silenced again. Feel that. That fire in your chest. That's not motivation. That's not inspiration. That is who you were always meant to be. A warrior. A storm. A nightmare to anything standing in your way. No more waiting. No more hoping. No more asking for permission. You don't just speak now. You command. You don't just exist now. You dominate. You don't just live now. You conquer. This is your turning point. The death of weakness. The birth of something unstoppable. Step forward. Own your voice. And let the world hear you louder than ever. They will try to stop you. They will hear your voice, feel your presence, and they will be afraid. They won't understand how you came back stronger. They won't believe the fire inside you. So they'll do what they always do. They'll test you. They'll throw doubt in your face. They'll call you reckless. They'll remind you of every failure, every weakness, every mistake. They'll say you're different now. You've changed. And they'll be right. You're not the same. You're not the person they could ignore. You're not the one who used to bow, used to break, used to wait for approval. That version of you is dead. Now you are the storm they never saw coming. Every challenge, every obstacle, every attack, it all fuels you now. You don't shrink. You expand. You don't hesitate. You charge. You don't flinch when the world pushes back. You push harder. Because now you are an unstoppable force. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving anything to anyone. This is about owning the battlefield. About becoming so relentless, so undeniable, that no one dares to question your place again. They thought your silence was your end. They have no idea it was just the beginning. Now when you speak, the world stops to listen. Now when you move, the ground shakes beneath your feet. Now, when they see you, they know you are inevitable. They doubted you. They ignored you. Now they have no choice but to hear you, louder than ever. No more doubts. No more questions. No more looking back. This is it. The final moment. The point of no return. You spent too long in silence, too long waiting, too long thinking you had time. But time never waits. Opportunity never waits. And strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from the fire, from the struggle, from choosing war over weakness. You are that war. There is no going back to who you were. There is no slipping into old habits, no retreating into comfort, no waiting for another chance. This is the last time you will ever need to remind yourself of who you are. Because from this point forward, there is no silence, only domination. You don't move like you used to. You don't think like you used to. You don't hesitate like you used to. You strike, you command, you conquer. They will hear you now. They will feel you now. They will know you now. Because your silence didn't kill you. It didn't break you. It forged you. And now you are undeniable. So stand up, walk forward. Let your presence shake the ground. Let your actions speak louder than words ever could. The world is watching. The world is listening. And now, whether they love you, whether they fear you, whether they hate you, they will never, ever ignore you again. There is no mercy here, no soft landing, no safety net. This is your final warning, rise or be forgotten. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. No one is going to listen unless you force them to. So what's it going to be? Will you let yourself fade back into the shadows? Will you slip into silence again, hoping someone else will give you permission to be great? Or will you step forward and take what's yours with your bare hands? This is not a choice between comfort and discomfort. This is a choice between existence and obliteration. You either rise or you rot. You either fight or you become nothing. There is no middle ground. You were silent once, but never again. You let them ignore you, dismiss you, look right through you. That ends today. Because now when you walk into a room, the air shifts. Now when you speak, every head turns. Now when you move, they know something unstoppable is in their presence. You have no rivals, no equals, no competition. Because the version of you that waited, that hoped, that doubted, that version is dead. And what's left? A force too powerful to ignore. They will never silence you again. They will never doubt you again. Because now they hear you louder than ever.